What up, y'all? Marcus from the shop. Yeah, it's been a minute. I haven't dropped an album review in a while, but honestly, I've been busy and just bored of what's coming out. Totally honest with you. But I could not leave you guys without a review about this movie. Y'all know that I dropped the reaction to this video or to this movie last summer. So obviously, I was anticipating this movie just like the rest of y'all were. And I saw it Thursday, but I didn't feel right just dropping my review right away because the very next day, well, maybe not coincidentally, it was planned perfectly. Next day, Friday, was Pac's birthday, and a lot of people had mixed reviews. You had people like 50 completely shitting on this movie, talking about it was garbage, it was trash, and you had people like Snoop, who was rooting for the movie. You had Game, of course, rooting for the movie. Of course, they're from the West Coast, so maybe they're biased. But then you had Jada Pinkett Smith, who just, y'all saw what happened. She wasn't a fan of the movie because there were some aspects of the movie that she felt like weren't real. Personally, that doesn't bother me. I know Hollywood, when they make biopics, they gotta Hollywoodize it or whatever, so it fits better on the movie screen. So for our viewing pleasure, it looks better. Honestly, that part didn't really bother me. But I will say, this movie is very underwhelming. And I tweeted about it Friday morning. Again, I wanted to shoot this video as soon as I left the theater, but I had to let it sink into me. So Friday morning, I tweeted out, "All Eyes on Me makes me not want to watch any more biopics. If they couldn't get the Tupac film right, what makes you think the 2 Live Crew is going to be good?" Focus. There you go. See, Friday morning. And then I tweeted that Friday morning before everyone started ripping the movie apart, like 50 and just all these other guys. Personally, I don't hate the movie. I'm not somebody that has strong opinions whether I love it or hate it. Like, I hate this generation where if you hate something, you're a hater. If you love something, you're a dick rider. I mean, I'm in the middle right here. Like, obviously, this is probably going to be the only Tupac film we'll ever get within the next 20 years. So I can appreciate that. But on the other hand, I could go the rest of my life never watching this movie again. Because, first of all, it's scary how close Demetrius Shipp Jr., that's his name, right? Demetrius Shipp Jr., right. How close he looks like Pac. There are parts in the movie where he's performing, and it's just like, fuck, man, he looks just like him. It's so scary. But on the other hand, the movie itself just did not flow well, and that's where my biggest issue was. Again, you had people complaining about how Demetrius Shipp Jr. did not play Pac well. He was like, you didn't embody the spirit of Pac, blah, blah, blah. It's a movie. Nobody is going to play a certain character perfectly because that's not their character. It's acting. Acting wasn't bad, of course, it's his first gig or, early gig or whatever. But needless to say, it's not a good movie. Like, as far as the pacing goes, story is very interesting, but it's definitely not a Straight Outta Compton. I personally did not like Notorious like that, but I felt the same way. It's Biggie Smalls. We grew up on Biggie and we want to watch some shit, but the movie itself with the pacing, it just sucked. Same thing here, but honestly, I think it was worse. There were certain parts where it felt like things were just dragging forever, and then there were parts that just felt like it was rushed. Like, what was the whole point of showing it? So this is going to be a little spoiler ridden throughout the movie. And again, this is why I didn't drop it Thursday or Friday, because I wanted you guys to watch it over the weekend. Today is Sunday, so now that I've thought about the movie a little bit, I've talked to a couple people here and there, my opinion has not changed. I still don't hate it, and I still don't love it. And I don't think I'll watch it again. If I do, I'll probably wait till it's like on Netflix or Redbox or something like that. It's not a movie that I'll be purchasing. But again, going into the movie, it starts off with him in jail and he's being interviewed. There's a famous interview, I think it was right after the rape case that he had going on. He was being interviewed and he had hair and everything, and he was going backwards. There was flashbacks of when before he was born, when his mother, Afeni Shakur, was in jail, and then once he was born, he was a little kid growing up in Baltimore and New York, and then moving to Oakland, California when he was a teenager. So you see those aspects as he was a kid. And it was cool. I was cool with it at first, but then it got to the point where it's just like, all right, we don't care. We don't need to see this part. We can just move on forward. I don't care about this stuff right here. But with that being said, there were parts where I did care about this little spot that I didn't know about, and it was rushed completely. So it's like, I don't know if I hate that about the movie or if I love that about the movie. But like, for instance, the one scene that was really interesting to me that I wish they stretched out more was when he shot those 2 off-duty cops. If you know Pac, you know this story. He was driving in Atlanta, or he was in the car somewhere in Atlanta after a tour or a show or something, and he saw 2 off-duty white cops beating the shit out of some guy, right? Black dude. He jumped out the car. He wanted to intervene, help the guy out. The cops were like, nah, get the fuck out of my face. Said a bunch of racist shit, pulled their guns out and everything. Pac went out to the car, grabbed his pistol, blasted them, right? Didn't kill them, shot them both in the ass and the legs or some shit, right? Cool scene, honestly, right? It was pretty cool. But that was literally it. After that, it skips over to just Pac walking down the street with his friend and was just like, yeah, I didn't even know they were off-duty cops. They even had stolen guns. You could have definitely gone all the way out with that one scene itself. That's interesting, especially where we at right now with the Black Lives Matter movements and the police brutality. That's something that you could have definitely explored. And it was just rushed through so fast. But then there are scenes that are just dragging on forever that we just don't give a shit about. Like when he was a kid and he was just walking around Baltimore and New York, cool, but not a big point in his life that we just don't really need to see. Like what's his name? D. Ray Davis was in the movie. He's talking to Pac, he gives him some money, and while he's doing so, some guy walks by right next to him and he starts beating the shit out of him for what reason we don't know. Scenes like that could have been clipped out the movie. We don't care about that. This is definitely not a Straight Outta Compton. I love the movie Straight Outta Compton. I even went out my way to buy it on Steelbook. I know some people didn't like this movie because it was glamorized. There was a lot of aspects of this movie that were fake or Hollywoodized, but it made it for an entertaining movie. There were so many people that I know that watched this movie had no idea who NWA was. I didn't grow up on NWA. We're talking about the late 80s, and we still enjoyed the movie. My father don't know shit about Straight Outta Compton. I mean, don't know shit about NWA. He saw the movie, thought it was a great movie. All eyes on me. I can't say that moviegoers that don't know anything about Pac are going to enjoy this movie, because this movie is supposed to be made for the fans, but it didn't fulfill our needs. I mean, of course you're gonna have those, I don't want to call them dick riders, but you're gonna have those diehard fans that are just gonna love whatever they can get, and you know, that's cool, you know, props to them. But me personally, that's not what I was looking for. There were little parts about the movie that I really just could not get over. And honestly, if the pacing was done a lot better, maybe I would have just let them shits go. Like my one pet peeve about this movie is the guy that they had playing as Snoop Dogg. First of all, this guy didn't really look like Snoop Dogg, and he was tall and lanky, cool with that. He had the composure, the real chill back, you know, posture. I'd rather they have gotten the guy from Straight Outta Compton, but they didn't for whatever reason, you know, money wise, whatever. Either way, they didn't. But the guy that they got, they did not even use his voice. He was audio dubbed, which means they had Snoop Dogg reading the lines, right? Reading his lines, and the guy was just moving his mouth. So it was pretty much lip synced or whatever. It was like watching a Japanese anime cartoon. They did that for a real movie. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, for all that, you might as well have gotten Snoop Dogg. I mean, yeah, maybe, I don't know if you would be willing to cut his hair or not, but if you weren't gonna go that route, just let the man act and use his regular voice. Like, we know it's a movie. We know it's not really Snoop Dogg. You didn't have to go all the way out to do that. That shit took me out the movie completely. But again, if the pacing was better for this movie, if there weren't scenes that felt like they were rushed, if there weren't scenes that felt like they were dragging, I probably would have let that shit go, and it'll probably been like a little nitpick, because the movie would have been good. But no, it wasn't. All that shit compiled with that, it just made my movie experience worse. Now, there were scenes that I did like about the movie, of course, him performing. I loved when Biggie came out, and the guy that played Biggie, I mean, shit, he did a phenomenal job. Personally, I thought he did great. I think the guy that played Pac did great as well. I thought their chemistry was good. When they were on stage and Biggie freestyled, dope. I was cool with it. I was fine. There were scenes like that that I can get with. I loved it. But again, just the movie that they were in, yeah, it did feel like a Lifetime movie like that you see on TV. It felt like one of those BET movies. Like, it just felt so rushed. It felt sloppy. And I couldn't get with it, man. Like, I was really annoyed. You know, there's no point in me telling you not to go watch this movie, because chances are you either saw it or you're going to see it. So whether I say it's good or not, go watch the movie if you were planning on watching it anyways, because it's just my opinion. Personally, I was just let down. Like, going in, I was so excited. When I tell you I rushed from work, like I work in an office downtown, right in Baltimore. Suit, tie, slacks, dress pants. I sped my ass out from the city to go pick up my girl to the movies. Mind you, again, how I was dressed with a tie and the shirt and everything, I looked like I didn't belong there at the movie theaters. I mean, we had guys dressed like me, you know, regular t-shirts and shit like that. We had old heads in their 40s coming by themselves to watch the movie. That's how excited I was to see it. I saw it on the first screening Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. I literally rushed and sped from work to watch this movie. Walked out disappointed completely. When I tell you, and this is a fucked up thought that happened in my mind towards the end of the movie, when I tell you when he was in Vegas, now this is not a spoiler because we know, if you know Pac, you know how he died. You know this. When he was in Vegas, in my head, I was like, thank God the movie is almost over. And that's so fucked up for me to say, because not only is the movie almost over, I know how the movie's about to die because he's about to get shot. So it's like me saying, oh, thank God he's about to get shot, so I get the fuck out of here. I should never have think that. Like, not as a Tupac fan, but because the movie just dragged on completely, I just couldn't wait to leave because I was just so disappointed. And yeah, a lot of people, I know I wasn't the only one while I was watching it, because I'm looking around and I see people checking their little watches for the time, checking their phones. I see people kind of squirming, smacking their lips, and that's towards like the middle of the movie. So needless to say, I wasn't the only person that felt like that in the theater. Nah, I can't say it's a good movie personally. It's an okay movie. They could have did a lot better. I don't know. I wish somebody talked to them in the editing department or however that's done. It just felt like it was just slapped together. Here you go. I'd rather have waited another year or two with the same actors, same direction, just put together a lot better. Like, that's all I was looking for. But yeah, if you already saw the movie, let me know what you think in the description. Am I bugging? Is the movie still a little better than what I think it is? Like, I don't know if I want to see it again. Let me know if you hate it. Let me know why. I don't know what to say, guys. Let me know what y'all think. Till next time.